This episode is brought to you by Alaska's Fishhound Expeditions. Fishhound Expeditions is a guide-owned, guide-operated company offering Alaska fly fishing trips on some of Alaska's best rivers. Their guides have fished and guided all over the world, but Alaska is where they will always come back to. No matter the length of your trip, from 1 day to 10 days, their experienced, knowledgeable, and passionate guides will guide you to Alaska's fishing trip of a lifetime. Check them out at fishhoundexpeditions.com. Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast. Today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about owning a fly shop and what it's like to own a fly shop and some of the funny stories, some of the trials and tribulations of owning a fly shop. Should somebody start a fly shop? All that kind of stuff. I'm going to answer all those questions throughout the whole podcast. But I really wanted to talk about some of the funny stories that have happened to me and other people that have worked at the fly shop over the years, over the last 22 years in Kernville, California. We're a destination fly shop, and the nearest fly shop to us is probably in Los Angeles, and which is pretty far away, probably about 3.5 hours away. So we're close to Bakersfield, California, and that's kind of a big metropolis there. And a lot of our base is from Los Angeles and the Bakersfield and Ridgecrest area on the other side, all the way up to Fresno. So there's a lot of people, a big base right there that come up to the Kern River and use the river and the Kern Valley to recreate. So some of the funny stories I want to tell you guys about are some of customers turned thieves, and some of those funny stories. So story number one, I had the fly shop probably about 4 years or so, and for a while there I was having to hide my truck because people were coming down and literally fly fishing or fishing right on top of me and my clients when I was guiding on the river. And I had a couple of run-ins and confrontations with folks, casting over the top of us and that sort of thing. So they would see my truck, probably think that there were fish there, and park their car and then come down and fish right on top of us. It was, they didn't know what they were doing. The folks didn't. And so I would have to educate them on, etiquette of the river and that sort of thing. But that just comes with the territory for sure. That happens still when I'm on the river. It happens to the other guides on the river. It's just something that happens to us when we're out there. But I had this one gentleman who would come probably twice a week and follow me. And he started getting the name The Follower. I'd get done guiding him. I'd come in the shop and I would tell the other people that worked there, oh my God, the Follower was following me all day. So this guy, he would definitely pop in, downstream or upstream of me for a long time. And I got to actually know his name and all this kind of stuff. And I was, he would be kind of far away from me, not too far, but kind of too close for comfort to be fishing next to me and my clients. But he did it all the time, and he just would look for my truck and pop in there, right? So, well, he would come into the fly shop when I wasn't at the fly shop. I'd be guiding, and he sometimes would come in with an accomplice, and he would talk to whoever was working in the shop that day, and his accomplice would go around and steal flies. And I knew this because I had just stocked the fly bins, and we were kind of getting a hunch. Those people that steal in a fly shop, you can just feel their vibe, like, okay, these guys, or this dude is not going to buy anything. They're going to look for something to steal. You can just feel the vibe. And the way they look, too, you can just see it in their eyes. So anyways, they were stealing and they were doing it together and that sort of thing. So that year, a fly shop had opened up in Bakersfield called Buzz's Fly Shop 2. It was another fly shop, a second fly shop from one up near the Fresno area. And so this fly shop had opened up, and a friend of ours was working at that fly shop. And these two accomplices, these two thieves, they would go into that fly shop and they would distract the older gentleman that was working in there. And they ended up like stealing some rods and reels and that sort of thing. And how they did that, they would say, "Hey, can we go cast this out in the back?" And one of them would go out in the back, and then one of them would stay in the store, and that one would steal rods and reels and put them in their car, and then come back in like nothing was happening. And this poor older gentleman had no clue that was going on until the owner of the fly shop realized that he was missing some Winston rods and that sort of thing. The owner of that fly shop was smart enough to where he was writing down the serial numbers from those rods and stashing them in the cash register or whatever. And so that owner of that fly shop called our fly shop, and the guy that was working in our fly shop back then was the retired lieutenant for the Bakersfield Police Department, and that was Bill Darby. And he was a great guy. He worked in the shop, older gentleman, but he was really good friends with the guy that was in the other fly shop, working in the other fly shop. And there was another guy, his sergeant was working in that fly shop down in Bakersfield as well, his old sergeant. And so there was this little community of like what was going on. We knew what was kind of going on and everything. Anyway, they called us up and they said that they had an idea that this guy had stolen some rods from their shop, and they had the actual serial numbers from the rods. And so they gave us the serial numbers, and we got them and everything, and we had them and said, "Hey, if you guys can anyway find out if he's fishing any of these rods." So one day I'm guiding on the Upper Kern, and the follower, I was actually guiding two cops, and I told them the story. And I said, "Hey, this guy's going to pop in sometime today, either up top or below us, downstream below us, and I'm going to go." And I told them the story about how they thought he had stolen the rods and whatnot. So sure enough, right around 1 o'clock, this guy pops in downstream, and I go, "There he is," So I leave my clients, I go down, and I go, "Hey, how's it going?" He's all, "Oh, hey guy, how you doing?" And I go, "Oh, pretty good. Hey, have you tried these new thingamabobbers?" This is when thingamabobbers had just come out. He's all, "No." And I go, "Here, let me wade out there." So I waded out to the river, and I hand him my rod, and I'm all, "Yeah, just cast it down there and pop it up. They float really good." And he hands me this brand new Winston rod. So I've got this Winston rod, and I'm reading the serial number on it, RJ5 or whatever it was, And so I memorized it, and I said, "All right, have a great day." And I'm in my mind, I'm going RJ5, I'm reading the serial number, trying to remember the serial number. So I get back to my truck, write it down, get on my sat phone, call Darby, the ex-lieutenant of the Bakersfield Police Department. He confirms that it's the rod. And so they, have connections with the police department, the detectives. So they get a hold of them. They actually get a search warrant, go to his house, and they find all this equipment that he had stolen from different stores and that sort of thing. So the follower ended up getting a little bit of time, and he's still around. He still tries to come in my shop, and I have to tell him, "Hey man, you're not allowed in my store." And he gets real confrontational and tries to be all slick about it and everything. And I say, "You're not allowed in my store. You're not allowed on the property." He's all, "Come on, guy. I'm sorry I did that." And I'm like, "Sorry, man. You're just not allowed to come in the shop anymore." So anyway, that's a pretty funny story where those guys all came up, the cops all came up and gave me this little fake badge, said I was a detective. It was pretty funny. Anyway, story number 2. So, over the years, I've met some of my best friends from the fly shop. I've met some really cool people. I've gotten some really cool gigs, just doing other things like commercials and just doing a lot of different things, playing music with my band for other people that are customers and clients and that sort of thing. So it's been an amazing journey. But I have some pretty funny stories. Just, owning a fly shop is no easy thing. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to retire and open up a fly shop. Well, owning a fly shop is a lot of work, or just owning a business in general is a lot of work. Just the retail aspect of owning a fly shop, the guiding that you have to have if you're going to own a fly shop, the marketing to get the products out there, but also marketing yourself as a business on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. All that is part of a job as well. It's a full-time job just doing that. Making sure to order the right stuff for your store. It's been 22 years and I still haven't figured that out. But that's just part of the game of owning a retail store for sure. And then you have customers, and trying to keep those customers happy and your clients happy. You're definitely part of when you're out on the stream as a guide, you're a friend, you're a psychologist, you're a guide, you're all these different things in one. And like I always say, just being a good fisherman as a guide is just part of the deal. Most really good guides have really great personalities and are people. They love people and helping people and that sort of thing. So, but I want to tell you guys this story and how it is owning a fly shop sometimes. So I'm pretty new at my fly shop, probably 3 or 4 years in. And this dude, local guy from Kernville, would come into my store. And I had a fireplace in this little shop, and people would sit there and jibber jabber, which is part of owning a fly shop. But this guy, he'd come in every single day. And, like I said, owning a fly shop, you're constantly doing stuff. Trying to put up product. You're trying to put up flies. You're trying to market. You're trying to answer phone calls. You're trying to book trips. You're doing all these things, right? And so when somebody comes in, you have to stop all that and talk to them, which is fine. But every single day, this guy would come in, sit in the chair, and tell me about his trip to Argentina, tell me about his trip there, tell me about all this. And I'd hear every every fishing story he's been. And he was also very negative on the Kern. He just, he didn't really like the Kern, but he lived in Kernville, and he would always go fishing in other areas. And so I just put up with all that stuff, and I would just go, yeah, that's cool, right on, blah, 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 blah. And it is what it is, but he took a lot of my time. And one day he comes in and he sits in the chair and he's all, yeah, I was down at this fly shop down in Los Angeles, and I bought that Sage bass fly rod. Guy, this is when Sage just came out with those bass fly rods, which were really cool. And I'm like, oh yeah? I go, I sell that fly rod right too. Look at I have about 3 of them right up here. He's all, oh my gosh, guy, I didn't know you sold Sage. So you get my point. This guy come into my store every single day, had no idea what products I had, just wanted to gab, never bought a single thing, and just chewed my ear off every day and went and bought from a different fly shop. Pretty interesting. So that's just one of many of the customer stories that I have. So another one, this is a funny one. So I'm out guiding. This is story number 3. So I'm out guiding one day, and I'm on my boat, right? And so I'm drifting down. So I'm drifting down the river. So my boat and my truck and my trailer get shuttled to Kernville and put in front of the shop because we get out right there by the shop. And so I'm floating down. I get out. My client and I get out, and I walk up to my shop to get my truck, and there's a guy there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, guy, I'm sorry, but I hit your trailer." And he had run into the back of my trailer and busted the trailer hitch and this kind of stuff on the back where I can store stuff, this little box and stuff, and really cool, made out of really cool wood and stained and really nice and everything. And he says to me, he's all, I'm a long-time customer here, and, I go, well, I appreciate that, but we got to fix this thing. He's all, come on, guy, man, I'm a long-time customer, and, I should be able to, not have to pay for that since I'm a good customer. And I'm like, well, hey, man, that's not the way things work. I appreciate you being a customer and everything, but you ran into my trailer and you jacked it up. And he's all, well, next time don't make it the same color as the road. And because the carpet on the top of the trailer where I put my raft was a similar color to the asphalt color. So he was blaming me for his mistake of running into my trailer. So anyways, he ended up having to fix that. Here's another one. This is story number 4. It goes on and on, you guys. This is good stuff. So one day I come out of my shop and I'm on the porch, and the bathrooms are actually on the other side of the building. So you have to walk to the right and down a little hallway past the hamburger stand, and then the bathrooms are on the other side of the building. So I go down that hallway. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I walk down the hallway. I go down and I see this motorhome, and it's backed up to my building. And these two guys have a hose out, and they've attached a hose to my building, to my water, and they're filling up their camper with water from my building. And I walk up, and I own the building and everything, and I go, hey man, what are you guys doing? So, we figured that we're such good customers at your fly shop that it'd be all right if we just grab some water from you to fill up our camper. And I said, well, you can't do that. That's stealing water. Well, come on, guy. We've been great customers for so long. We figured that it'd be all right for us to get some water here. And I'm like, no, man, you can't do that. You can't just pull up to anywhere and just get your water wherever you like, without asking. And he's all, come on, man. We're great customers. And he's like arguing with me. And I'm like, sorry, man, you guys can't do that. That's stealing water. And they took the hose off and got in their motorhome and drove off. Oh my gosh, it goes on and on and on. So I've told you about the follower. I've told you about the motorhome. I told you about the guy sitting in the chair. I told you about the guy hitting my trailer. Let me tell you about the theft stories, some more theft stories. So, guys come in, not many girls, but guys come in, and there's this, I don't know how to explain it, but over the years I've gotten this sensation of this vibe of people who are going to steal. And you just know, they come in and you can just feel it. It's like they've got this look on their face. They walk around the shop. They don't buy anything. They just walk around. They look at you, and they look at the flies. They pick them up with their hands. They look at them to the point where they're just, it's almost obvious. And so now, you can tell who they are, and you just go right up to them and go, can I help you guys? That sort of thing. But I had this one guy just staring at me, and like, he just couldn't decide whether or not he was going to steal from me. He was just waiting for me to look away to steal some flies, but I just kept my eye on him, and he just wouldn't steal. It was funny. He just wouldn't do it. Another guy came in. This is a funny one. So this guy comes in and he buys a fly rod, and he buys it early in the morning, right when we first open. And then he goes and fishes it all day. And it's a brand new rod. Comes back, and the handle's just completely all black, from him, I don't know, having dirty hands or whatever. And he says, okay, can I get my money back? I didn't like this rod. But he fished it all day. And so, you're caught in a dilemma, as a fly shop owner. What do you do in that situation? Do you refund him his money, or how does that work out? So I'll let you guys figure that one out. And maybe you can write in the comments and try to analyze what I did on that one. This next one, story number 6. This one was really disheartening for me as a fly shop owner, and got really jaded from it because it was a kid. And but I'll tell you the story, and it's a bummer story. But anyway, so this kid's coming in to the shop, and he's got a real big interest. He's probably about 10 years old, and he's got a really big interest in fly fishing for general, but he wants to learn how to fly fish. So me and two other guides that were working at the shop at the time, they took him under his wing, and we taught him how to tie flies. We took him fishing. He would go fishing with us. He didn't have a dad, but his mom worked across the street at the hotel, and we would take him fishing with us, and he'd fish after work with us, and he was just this kid that was getting really good at fly fishing, and so he had a little buddy, and they would come into the shop and talk and whatnot, and it was really interesting because one of the kids would go walk around, and the other little kid who took under our wing would sit and talk to us, and this other little kid would walk around the store and everything. And at the time, I just was clueless. I would never think that they would be trying to steal from me. So one day, my clients came in early in the morning, and they're all, gosh, we talked to this little kid that we're staying at this hotel. His mom works at the hotel, and he sold us some flies. And I'm like, oh yeah? I go, yeah, we've been teaching him how to tie. And I go, let me see his flies. And he showed me the flies, and I'm like, he said he tied these flies? And he's all, yeah. And I'm like, I knew he couldn't tie that good. And they were like stimulators, like really nice rubber-legged stimulators. And I knew that he couldn't tie that well. So I knew that he had been stealing. So we just kind of watched it where when they came in, we kind of watched them a little bit closer, and what they would do is they would go around and fill up flies and then put them in their pockets, and then come up and buy one or two, and they would have a dozen flies in their pocket. So it just broke my heart because I had to tell his mom, hey, your son's been stealing. He's not allowed to be in the shop anymore, and this and that. And I'm not going to call the police because I like the kid, but this is not good. We taught him how to tie flies, and we taught him how to fly fish, and he's actually stealing from me, the person who taught him how to fly fish and stuff. So and the problem was his mom. I said, she's all, well, he's already gotten in trouble at school, so I don't want to get mad at him for this. And I'm like, okay, there's the problem right there. So, it just goes on and on. I got more and more stories too. And, I had a guy break into my shop years ago. And in the middle of the night, the alarm went off, and I got a call, and I went down there, and the fly shop was completely destroyed. The person didn't know what they were doing. They took the cash register. Back then, it was just a regular cash register, big, heavy, ugly looking thing. And he took the cash register and put it behind the shop, and was trying to open it behind the shop or whatnot. And by the time we got there, he was gone. But they had busted the door down, busted a bunch of the glass displays on, just trying to get the cords out of the wall and stuff. And left, $1,000 rods on the racks. Didn't take any of that stuff, but went for the cash register, which we don't keep any cash in the register at all, ever. And so it was just kind of funny that that had all gone wrong for him. So I'm there late at night. It's like 2 a.m, and I'm trying to fix the door. The cops are there and everything, and they're all, yeah, we have a pretty good idea who this person is. It's the only person who's been doing any breaking and entering in the town. He just got out of jail, and we have like zero crime in Kernville. Every once in a while we have something stolen from somebody on meth or something from another city or whatever, but hardly any crime at all, right? And so we have an idea, and I'm like, okay. And in fact, his mom lives across the street in the trailer park across the street. And I'm like, oh, no way. And so we get the deputy gets a call at like 2:30 in the morning, and he looks at his phone. He's all, you're not going to believe this. This is the mom of the guy who we think, broke into here. So he answers, hello? He's all, okay. All right. Well, thanks for letting us know. And so at 2:30 in the morning, the mom had called the deputy to let the deputy know that this guy was home all night. At 2:30 in the morning, just in case anything went down, that he was home all night. So there you have it. Funny stuff. But the cool thing about the fly shop is that I love going to work every day. I love guiding. I love the people that I guide. I love my employees, such great people, quality people, and it's just a great business to have in a great town, a great community. It's just a beautiful, beautiful river that got blessed to have such an amazing fishery. The whole Kern River Valley, the lake, the lower Kern, the upper Kern, the golden trout wilderness, the South Sierra wilderness, all the different types of species of fish that are in the area. It's just an amazing place. I've met some of my best friends through the fly shop, and I've met some people that I've fished with for the last time, like they had, a disease or cancer or something like that, and they no longer were going to be on this planet for very much longer. So I had the honor of taking them fishing one last time on my boat, that sort of thing, all that kind of stuff. Being a part of this amazing fly fishing club called the Southern Sierra Fly Fishers, which was started back in 2004, I believe. And so it's just an amazing community, just an amazing place to be. But I wanted to share those funny stories with you guys, the trials and tribulations of owning a fly shop. I'll probably talk more about owning a fly shop in the future, and whether or not to open a fly shop and what it takes to open up a fly shop. Maybe I'll do that in the future. But I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. It's a super fun thing that I get to do, and I enjoy it. The sponsors that are sponsors of this podcast, make sure to check them out. Fishhound Expeditions, what a great company. So there you guys have it. I will talk to you guys next time.